Oh my God, I don't even know how we got away with that. That was probably one of the worst performances I've seen Manchester United have this season. On the pitch, performance-wise, it was god-awful. Look, I'm not going to hide around the result and the last-minute goal. There are positives to take from this. We'll get into them, but I have to be completely brutally honest right now with everything that happened in that game there. Sometimes, and I said this while I was watching the game, you get what you deserve in football. And Manchester United's performance in that game was horrendous. It really was bad. And there's major, major concerns with how we are mentally handling the pressure of playing in situations like this. Away from home, how we have to cling on for dear life to anything, ever. There is nothing ever comfortable. And do you know what? Let's get into a positive with this, because I think Ruben Amorim nailed it. I think Ruben Amorim did everything he could, and I believe he did everything he could to actually get Manchester United prepared for that. You cannot, and I say this now, you cannot change the mentality of them players when they step over that white line. And you know what? Another thing that I said in that game with these players was the constant need for being slapped in the face to wake up and start playing football. You score a goal, why don't you go and get another goal? Why don't you carry on playing? Use that as your platform to try and move forward and make the game more comfortable for yourselves. But they have not got it in them. Now, the mental strength to actually come back and scrape something from the game has to be applauded as well. We didn't lose. And I think the performance kind of ruins the fact that we dug out a result there. And it sounds weird saying that, doesn't it? It does sound weird and strange that we're actually looking at a performance from Manchester United and criticising it so much after digging out a draw. So you could argue with me and say that you called out the mentality, Adam, there, but really they showed mental strength being with 10 men, and that unlucky break for Benjamin Sesko going down injured in the latter stages of the game and playing out the last 10 with 10 men and still dragging themselves off the canvas and getting a draw out of that. And we carry on this unbeaten run that we're on right now. This might actually, in theory, in a way, teach Manchester United a huge lesson. When you look at it, the fact that they should have lost that game, they deserved to lose that game. I thought Spurs were awful as well. I mean, to be honest, it could have been any result there, and no one probably would have deserved anything from the game. I'm talking about a Manchester United performance here, which was gutless after we scored that goal. It really was. Why do we need a team to score for us to wake up? Every single time, just finish it off. And you know what? This is a problem away from home. This is an issue away from home as well for Manchester United. That is the biggest concern that I've got out of everything. Why do we feel the need to completely collapse when we go in front away from home, like we have done in them last two games? Liverpool, we had a little bit more about us. We had a bit more steel. But that weak centre, and I can't really criticise the changes today from Ruben Amorim. Like I said, I haven't actually got an issue with Ruben Amorim today. I haven't. He did what he had to do. It's not his fault that these players melt in that moment, and they did melt. Defensively, Manchester United stood up and were counted in a way. They dug in. The defence is always there for Manchester United. But the fact that we're talking about the defence constantly and them being our best players week in, week out is a concern already for Man United fans, I feel anyway. But that game again there shows where our biggest problem is for me. And it's not Ruben Amorim. It's the mentality of the players. How do you stop them players from playing the balls and making them individual decisions that we were making in that game? How do you stop them from doing that as a manager? There's nothing he can do on the training ground. And you know what? There's a point here in this, and I don't want to have a go here at Benjamin Sesko. But again, it just goes to show the pressure of being a Manchester United player, because he came on the pitch today after that criticism from the week, and he looked absolutely shot of all confidence. In a couple of instances and moments in that game, he really looked out of his depth. And I think it actually might have got to him. I actually feel really sorry for him. But he's going to have to learn quick. It's a hard life at the top. It's hard to be a Manchester United player. And if you let it get the best of you, then it will completely consume you and it will spit you back out quickly. And Ruben knows this, and I think that's why he took Benjamin Sesko out of the firing line today and put Cunha up front. It actually, when you look at it on paper, was another very good decision from Ruben Amorim today in how he deals with his squad and what he is doing to try and get past this mental hurdle. Certain players thrive under it, like Brian Mbeumo, Ahmad today, outstanding for Manchester United. Yet again, them two and their link up is just brilliant. And what a fantastic first goal that was as well for Manchester United. Consistent pressure on that 18-yard box, winning the ball back, and a brilliant cross under pressure from Ahmad. And the way Brian Mbeumo just spins off the back of Pedro Porro was absolutely brilliant and buries the head off. United should see the game out from there because there is nothing in this Spurs side that has got any quality. Them players in that the fact that Mathis Tel and Richarlison are scoring goals against you tells you how poor you was in them latter stages, in them moments. And you know what? I think even with that late equaliser for Manchester United, it just felt like there was more there for United today. We got away with it, but we got what we should have at least had type of feeling out of it. But then again, when you look at it and analyse it, what the hell did Man United do in the second half? What did we do? Did we have any shots on Vicaro's goal? I can't remember anything. I can't remember anything at all substantial. We didn't have one shot on target. I think the only shots on target Manchester United had were the 2 goals. We didn't create anything today, which was concerning for me, against a very, very poor Spurs side. And yet, if you score the last goal, you go away with something, a little bit more belief. You've got something to grab a hold of, and it feels a little bit better than the home side who blew it in injury time against 10 men. And again, that shows how poor Spurs are. I just don't get the breakdown in Manchester United players. Like, we'll come back against Everton and we'll be fine. We'll be fine. And still think that we can still get into Europe. Champions League, at that moment, we've had 2 opportunities now, the last 2 games, to really put a marker down and put ourselves in there. And there's no excuse not to be in there. It's Nottingham Forest and it's Spurs. And you could say that they were hard-fought draws. And overall, at the end of the season, we might look back on these and laugh and say they were good points for Manchester United because they've helped us just about stay in contention and get there. But I tell you what, one thing it does show again today is that Manchester United need more investment into midfield. Casemiro not being able to last 90 minutes while having a full week's recovery is not good enough for Manchester United. I love the guy. He was poor today again for me. I didn't think he was any good in midfield. I thought Bruno was awful today. Absolutely awful for him. Unfortunately, I love the guy, and you know I always back him, but I'm going to call it as I see it. I thought he was awful. I've mentioned Dorgu many a times now. I think Dorgu worked his way into the game today, and I think he deserves a little bit of praise. I thought Luke Shaw was awful. I thought his decision making was horrendous today. I don't know how bad Maguire's injury is yet. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. De Ligt was a beast and deserved that goal. And if anyone deserves credit for his performance for 90 minutes, that is, then it's Matthias De Ligt today. Him and Senna Lamens were brilliant. Maguire was good while he was on. Brian Mbeumo and Ahmad were the other 2 players of note. I thought Cunha was poor today also. And again, when the substitutes came on, just weren't enough. I mean, Nagate got stuck for offside. He got pushed and bullied in the box, which allowed Richarlison to get that flick on. It's little fine margins like that. He's a little bit unlucky because he was off balance and went over. He tried to get back on side and missed it by a midge. But look, it's fine little margins in football that Manchester United... And I remember saying it in the game. I said, I just don't feel comfortable at all. And I think we're going to end up throwing this away again. And we did. You could say that we got away with it. You could say that we dragged ourselves back into it, but I ultimately still feel that Manchester United completely threw that away. And they did. Like, Spurs will feel like they have lost. They've dropped 2 points there, Spurs, because they had the win in the bag. They will be the ones that are ultimately fully deflated there. But I think you're looking at this game as an overall outlook going forward. I think it's going to be tough to take too many positives from that, but we got the point. That was the main thing. It's another point in the right direction, you could say, but I cannot praise that performance for Man United. I cannot praise that. And I want to make this very, very clear right now. I am not blaming Ruben Amorim for one bit of what went on that pitch there today. One bit. It wasn't his fault. He set that team up and prepared that team. There was nothing on him in there at all. Nothing that he could have done differently. His players melted, and some of his big players melted on that pitch there today. And United should have easily won that game because Spurs were god awful. They were awful. Look, if you think that we can bounce back from that and come back after the international break, pop a like on the video, everybody. Make sure that you do hit that subscribe button as well. We're in these games and we suffer together, so be part of it here on Forever United TV. Thanks for tuning in and watching, everybody. Give me your thoughts on that in the comment section. Let me know what you're thinking, everyone.